Yeah.
Hi, we're the Chameleons, and we want to say greetings to the entire Lado B community, and I hope you'll come and see us when we come down there to play.
Saludos hermanos y bienvenidos a Lado B. Soy Mauricio y créanlo o no, estoy aquí con Vox y Reg de una de mis bandas favoritas de todos los tiempos, The Chameleons. So again, thank you guys so much for having us, and once again, thank you so much for the music. I mean, I just can't believe that I'm in front of you. You guys have marked like half my life. I've been like listening to your music since I was like I don't know, 20 years old. I'm almost 50, so
wow.
A little longer than half my life. So I guess the first thing that I just wanted to tell you guys and ask you is that Script of the Bridge is perhaps the album that I've recommended the most in my channel. And every single time that I like talk about you guys and Script of the Bridge, like people fall in love with the album. And for me, it goes beyond the songs. For me, it's like how you guys like crafted it perfectly well, like the order of the songs, the mood, the atmosphere, like it tells a story. So I was wondering today in the era of like shuffle and playlists and whatnot, do you guys think that we've lost like the art of storytelling via
I don't think we've lost it, because we still have it. We still do that. We still.
Most people don't.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Is it? I don't know. Is it as important? I think to us making the record, we still have that approach.
Mm-hmm.
We still think in terms of vinyl records. And the length of it was, I think, 46 minutes, which is about as much as you can get on a vinyl without it starting to deteriorate, you know, with the grooves and everything. And the order of the songs is something we think very deeply about.
It shows.
You know, the idea that an album is a journey from track one to the last track. You know, I mean, you're probably right. It has changed the face of it. You know, it's made a lot of that redundant, I think, for a lot of groups. But I think that's probably why albums don't have that special thing anymore. You know, they're just a collection of tracks, and you can, you know, we still think in terms of albums, so it's still very important to me. You know, all my albums are from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
And that was the era of the album, and you can tell on Arctic Moon because like it's very clearly divided in sides. So say the side A is a little bit more like driving and.
Well, it was the Beatles that changed it. I mean, before Sgt. Pepper, albums were just a collection of songs. They were just like, and you had a couple of hits on there and whatever, and the rest of them were just a collections of songs. That's all they were, very unpretentiously collections of songs. And then the Beatles changed all that, and it became something much deeper, you know.
It was more Pete Townsend than Tommy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Tommy, but that came after Pepper.
I don't think it was about the same time.
Was it?
I think he had the idea before.
Oh, really?
Of the concept album. I mean, we didn't actually consciously write concept albums. We didn't put concepts into Scripts of the Bridge or anything like that.
But they feel like concept albums, right? It's just like a single piece.
Well, they were all written around the same time, so they've got that in common with each other.
Okay.
And yeah, we were kind of doing interesting, like sampling things before there were ever samplers.
Oh, wow.
You know, there was no such thing as sampling when we did Scripts of the Bridge, you know. So we were basically taking our samples analog from television sets, just recording randomly from television sets, and then just spinning them into the tracks.
How the album starts, yeah.
Yeah. So things like that. But,
I mean, for us, it's like it was like an adventure, so that probably comes over.
Yeah.
It's like an adventure, really. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't, you know, the idea that we'd ever get to, you know, actually make an album, a real album, you know, it was that was the achievement in itself, I think, wasn't it? You know, just fucking hell, we're making an album. You know, it's like first of all, you're making a record, that's a big deal, and then the next you're making an album. From people, you know, for kids that grew up buying albums, that's a big deal. So that's probably right. Yeah, probably spilled out on it.
All right. So on that note, like you're speaking about Tommy and Sgt. Pepper's. Many of my videos are about top 10s and top 5s and whatever. Do you guys have like a, I don't know, like a top 5 favorite albums of all time, or the albums that influenced you the most, the albums that you go to?
There's definitely more than 5.
Yeah, I mean, you're influenced by everything you hear, aren't you, really? But I mean, the Beatles, for me, were the main influence.
Yeah, me too.
You just did everything, you know, you can't...
Up until, I want to say, 68, the Beatles were the only band I listened to.
Oh, wow.
Up until about 1968. And then I started getting into pirate radio. In pirate radio? Radio Caroline and... what was the other one? Radio Caroline and there was another one I can't remember. Before, just as Radio 1 was starting, really. And listening to John Peel as well.
Oh, John Peel, I have your Peel sessions here.
Yeah, that was it.
So great.
I mean, I got into Tyrannosaurus Rex through John Peel.
All right.
And then ultimately T-Rex in 1970. But up until 68, the Beatles were the only thing I was listening to. Then I was like listening to, started hearing the Doors played on late night pirate radio.
Okay. Oh wow.
And took me a while to figure out who they were, who he was. I heard the voice, and because they didn't often tell you who it was, they just play the record, and they expect you to know who it was.
That is
as
crazy.
a 9-year-old.
That's so different.
Really. And then I got into T-Rex, and then David Bowie.
Of course, David Bowie.
Yeah,
David Bowie. I got into Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper, yeah.
Early the Alice Cooper band.
Alice Cooper band.
Cooper, as he's now.
Yeah, I got my first when I had a record player. I think I got a record player when I was about 7, and then for my 12th birthday, I got a cassette player. So I went and bought Schools Out. That was my first album I ever bought on a cassette.
Oh, nice.
And it was the only one I had, so I was playing it over and over. And then I got into Killer.
Okay.
And so I was a big Alice Cooper fan, same as him. And Sparks as well.
Oh, Sparks, yeah, that's a great band.
Fucking Sparks, really.
That's a great band.
I actually told my mother lies and told her I was staying at a friend's house for the weekend so that we could go to Leeds and Liverpool to watch Sparks, and Manchester to watch. Follow Sparks around the northwest of England. We followed them around.
It's crazy.
Got caught as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Couple more questions. So you mentioned Manchester. You mentioned like the Beatles and whatnot. I mean, Rich, you have like a very particular like guitar playing style, very atmospheric, ethereal. It's very driving, and for me, sounds very different from like the early guitar gods like Jimmy Page and whatever. So I was wondering if you were like purposefully trying to get away from that in like blues-driven
No, I just couldn't
influence.
play.
Oh,
I couldn't play. So
No way.
what was supposed to do? I couldn't play like Jimmy Page. I love Jimmy Page. I couldn't play like that. I still can. But no, I'm just not a great player. I can come up with riffs. I'm good at coming up with riffs, but that's about it. I'm not a good. I don't know much about guitar playing.
but it's like you pour your soul into your playing, and you can tell it's like very different.
Yeah, but he can't be objective because he can't hear it the way others do. Because I always I've maintained this. I've been in interviews for the last 20 years. I've said, when it comes to guitar players, for me, there were two for playing guitar. One was Mick Ronson, the other was Red Smithers, and I think the reason is because I'm more impressed with a guitar player that can evoke emotion with just 1 or 2 notes than somebody that can, hammer the scale. Just understand what I mean? And Ronson was the same. Mick Ronson was the same. He was able to play like solos on 1 string, 2 notes, 3 notes that made your hair on the back of your head stand on end. He's a proficient guitar player.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But and Reg, to me, as a listener, has that same quality with the added quality of he says, I just come up with riffs, but the kind of riffs it comes up with are completely unique.
I think in the Chameleons though, it was like I was always felt like a fraud because Dave could play the guitar. You know, I mean, he could do all that. He could do, and I just didn't have a clue.
But Dave's a great guitar player
He's
as well.
a great guitar player. He was like the guitar player of the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dave was a great guitar player, but he you know, he's got imposter syndrome.
It shows it. But I mean, I feel the same as you.
Because I've worked with really, really good guitar players, right, that can't do it. They can't play the part with the same feel. There was a you know, I'm not going to name him because he might hear this or read this. He's in America, but there was one guitar player that I worked with who was exceptionally good, but he was coming from his inspirations were people like Johnny Marr, right? And he's trying to play looking inwardly. He's trying to play the riff looking inwardly, and I'm like, dude, you're a million miles from. And he says, but those are the notes. I said, yeah, but those are the notes, but that's not the riff. You can't do it. You can't pick it properly. You know.
I think everyone's got their own style.
Yeah.
And trying to play like Jimi Hendrix. No one can play like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, exactly.
They can play the notes Jimi Hendrix played.
Exactly. But all great guitar players aspire to that. Having the style that they do, that is very, very difficult for anybody else to replicate or impersonate. You know. And I think he's up there with them. He won't say that, but I do.
No, I feel, as a fan, I feel that, like, whenever I listen to a couple of notes or the riff from Looking Inwardly, ding, ding, ding,
I'm not kidding.
oh my God.
I'm not kidding.
It's really like good stuff.
To me, number one is Mick Ronson because he was just fucking phenomenal guitar player. For me, isn't he?
Oh, that's such an honor to be sitting like in front of you because
His solo on Indian is one of the best things I ever heard him do. That solo on Indian in Indiana is fucking brilliant, and it's all on just one string.
Oh, one string.
Yeah, just going up and down.
Because I learned, the thing is, my dad bought a guitar home from the pub one day, and he just stood in the corner of the room with one string on it. I used to pick it up and play one string.
That's crazy.
And for ages, and so I can play one string really well.
And he does it on Indiana to the point where it literally has the same effect. When the first time when he recorded it, laid it down, he didn't know what he was going to do. He was improvising the first time stuff, and then he said, "Well, let me try another one." And me and the engineer looked at each other and went, "Okay, I'll try another one." We thought that was really good, but okay. So he does another one, and then we're like, "Well, now we can't decide which one's the best one." They're both fantastic. And then now it's Dave in the corner goes, "We'll put them both together." So we put the two different takes together.
Oh wow.
And one's going up the fucking neck while the other one's coming down, and it's just like, he didn't plan it.
Oh wow.
He just did what he felt like, what he felt like. He had an idea, and he executed it twice in two different ways, and when you put them together, they were perfectly complementary. And that blew my fucking mind.
Oh my God, I love that story.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I love it today.
Yeah.
Couple of more questions, and I'll let you guys go. You were talking about Manchester. Is there something about Manchester that has spawned, and this is gonna come from like a very personal point of view, because my favorite bands, Chameleons, The Fall, The Smiths, all of them like come from Manchester. So what's with the water? Like what does Manchester have?
You'll in post-punk, immediate post-punk, 97% you had Buzzcocks, right? And Magazine. And then in the wake of that, going into 78, you had that inspired people in the city to start making music, right? So then you get The Fall, and then you get Joy Division. And these bands become like cults, right? Especially when Ian tops himself after that, right? And then they develop into New Order, right? But at that period, there's a lot of light in Manchester now, right? And as always happens, when the scene starts to develop like that, people come into the city from all over the place, right? Because it's a big student town, for one thing.
Okay,
right?
Okay. You know
and it's got a lot of satellite places, right? Like Ian Curtis came from Macclesfield. You understand? It was a satellite place. They go to grabbing to get to Manchester because it's a hub. There are places to play there.
Okay.
There's a radio station there. There's things happening there. People gravitate towards it, inspired by what's happening. It only takes a spark to ignite the fusion.
But the main spark was the Sex Pistols playing the Free Trade Hall, and that sparked Buzzcocks, that sparked New Order, Joy Division, and the Smiths. They all came from that. The Fall.
Eventually, it took a long time though.
They were all at that gig. They were all at that gig and it inspired him to start.
That is crazy.
You know, I met the band, the two guys that I got into to see the Sex Pistols in Huddersfield on Christmas Day. Them two, they were playing in a band with Mike Joyce. That was Mike Joyce's band, who eventually joined the Smiths. But you know, and then so the ball rolls on, and then you start to get the Smiths, and you start to get Chameleons, and you start to get you know, as more bands become prominent, more people flock there. I was talking to a lot of students one night, and like, well, why did you choose Manchester to come and study? Because of the music, right? Oh. And if you've got that kind of influx of people, creative people especially, they're going to be in Manchester, and it's going to like come out of Manchester. But a lot of the talent came from around Manchester. It didn't actually come from Manchester itself.
That's very interesting.
I could argue, you know, Mark Smith's from Salford. That's another district.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I mean, yeah. It's and all the bands that have come out there, put Manchester on the map now, are a magnet for kids to go. They start bands over here, but they'll go to Manchester because it's a central place. It's on the map. It's got venues to play in if you can get in them. That's how it happens.
We need to go to Manchester at some point. Oh my God, we'd love to go.
It's changed again now, so it's different now. I don't recognise it.
Yeah. I don't
oh really? It's like
oh, no, it's just like any other place now.
So never mind.
There's like the only part of Manchester that I recognise as Manchester now is like Ancoats and Oldham Street. Like in Ancoats, there's like a little bit of it that's not being transformed.
Yeah, I go there now and I'm walking down the street and going, where's all this stuff come from?
Yeah.
There's be nothing here.
Yeah.
It's like plastic or.
So it's all like shops and everything.
It's just.
But I'd walk down the road to the music shops, and you'd walk down. There's nothing on the way at all. Now it's just all shops.
Yeah.
And everything is going on.
Very gentrified. Isn't it?
That happens.
A lot of hotels. A lot of fucking hotels. A lot of. You know, like Manchester Free Trade Hall was like one of the best places that I ever went to see shows. It's a hotel now.
It was quite run down when we were growing up. Really, it was just like loads of old mills and stuff all around it.
Yeah,
so sad.
Places where I saw Joy Division and Banshees and bands like that, Early Doors, and the Osborne is derelict now. It's just falling down.
That is so sad. It's just like that iconic place in London. Of the Ziggy Stardust cover, right? And now it's like a John Barbados.
I was gutted when I went to that and I saw it and I went, no.
Yeah, like, no.
Because I remember going down to, because before the internet, you couldn't find out where anything was. So I'd go down to London, but I never knew where this place was. I couldn't find out. But when you get the internet, you know where it is. But so I went down and like looking at it now, it's like, oh God, it's horrible.
That's so sad.
I mean, Manchester had the Electric Circus. That was one of the things that it had. It's like one of the most famous punk clubs in the country.
Okay.
Every single one of them went through there. The Clash, the Pistols. I saw the Jam there. I saw them all. So that was a big melting pot of people as well. Yeah. We always had that subculture.
Okay. Well,
And talk about the Ziggy Stardust cover, and it's mad the way it's got like that K West on it.
K
Like
West.
you'd never get away with that now. You can't have that. That looks like that looks like it's called that. you wouldn't do that now, but then you could. And the way he started that LP as well with 5 years was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't get, you wouldn't start a record with something like that.
No.
It's like, how did he do that? It's brilliant.
I know.
Perfect.
So, last question. So, a lot of my followers are going to go to your shows in Latin America, particularly Mexico City. So, most of my audience is based in Mexico. A little bit in Argentina and Chile and all of those countries. I just want to say that they discovered you via Lado B. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me read this question because I was very purposeful in writing it down. So what do you hope like a new fan carries away from a Chameleons show after experiencing it for the very first time?
I would like him to feel the same way I felt when I went to my first show when I was 13. Like it was transcendental. Yeah, something happened that was going to stay with them for a long time after they walk out. That's what I would hope.
That's a biggest hope.
Hope they do. Yeah, they might not. They might fucking hate it. I don't know. But I mean,
you want to go away with it.
I spoke to a 15-year-old with her mother, this week at one of the venues. It was her first concert ever,
Oh wow.
and she was absolutely blown away by it.
Like being your show, her first show.
Yeah. She told her mother, both he and her mother told me, this is the first concert she's ever been to, and she said, the girl was just like,
Gonna mark her for life.
and I'm like, well, I can relate because that's how I said I'm very honoured by that because that's exactly how I felt when I came out of the Freak Trade Hall after I'd seen T-Rex. So but that's happened a couple of times. Just last night as well, I was talking to a young lady who that was her first concert, and that's our music that made her want to go to a concert. She never wanted to go to a concert before, and she's in her 20s. She never nothing had ever made her want to go and see a concert or hear a concert until she heard our records quite recently. It's very gratifying. So yeah, I would hope that what they experience stays with them for a long time. Maybe even inspires them to pick up a guitar or something.
I'm convinced that that's gonna happen because you guys are the best.
Yeah.
You truly are.
That puts us in good company if we inspire people to pick up guitars.
Amazing. Perfect. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
Do you guys mind just like saying hi to the Lado B community?
No,
Lado B.
Lado B.
Lado B.
Lado B.
Lado B. So we see Lado B.
Lado B. Lado B.
Lado B. Yeah.
Okay. Now?
Yeah.
Hi, we're the Chameleons, and we want to say greetings to the entire Lado B community, and I hope you'll come and see us when we come down there to play.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.